Hello guys, how are you? Good morning all of you. Welcome to Learn Short and Typing with Vikas sir. Exercise number 10 and 11 दिसंबर 2023. आई होप आप लोग अच्छे से तैयारी कर रहे होंगे। मैं आपसे यही उम्मीद करता हूँ क्योंकि जो ये एक आपका जो टाइमिंग है आपके पास सिर्फ 10 दिन का ही बचा हुआ है, इसलिए आप अपनी बिल्कुल स्ट्रिक्ट तैयारी करें। So be ready, start. The Chief Election Commissioner also directs and controls the preparation of electoral rolls of states as well as the union territories and settles the program of work for them, orders the holding by elections to fill up casual vacancies. He supervises the work of the chief electoral officers in states and union territories regarding elections. He examines the reports submitted by the electoral officers regarding filing of accounts of election expenses by contesting candidates and disqualifications of defaulting candidates. He considers and takes decisions on representations for removing disqualifications incurred by the candidates. He hears cases relating to recognition of political parties and allotment of symbols. He prepares the reports on general election and performs certain duties required under the Representation of the People's Act 1950 and 1951 and the rules made thereunder. He undertakes extensive tours for supervising the preparation of electoral rolls and conducts elections also and holds conferences. He also attends to administrative and financial matters pertaining to the Commission's organization and its functions. These are in sort of functions of the Commission. Would it be possible for one individual to do full justice to the task assigned to the Commission, and can a single individual loaded with so many important duties present a picture of efficiency and impartiality? In my opinion, he can never stop. In this respect, it would be worthwhile to quote what the Joint Committee on Amendments to Election Law had said. It is a committee constituted by both houses of Parliament. It says that in order that elections based on adult suffrage in the country may be free and fair, it is essential that the election work should be separate and done throughout the length and breadth of the country, and that even in the remotest villages this work should be done in a manner so as to inspire the confidence of the people. The election machinery should be such that it may function effectively in every village, town and city in an independent, impartial and fair manner. Gradually, elections have ceased to be a 5 years affair but are held, if you note, every year, at least in every alternate year in some part or other of our vast country. The elections have therefore become a continuing process entailing enormous work on the Election Commission. The immensity of the task of the Election Commission and the complexities of the duties it is called upon to discharge are too obvious and do not require any elaboration. It is too great a burden for a single person to exercise supervision, direction and control effectively on the whole process of elections throughout the country. Next para. Mr. Chairman, sir, keeping in view the circumstances in the country, our constitution is so framed that we can say that It is neither fully federal nor fully unitary. It strikes a balance between two and it stood the test of time in all situations so far cropped in the country. We have so far successfully thwarted all kinds of challenges posed to our political system and we have remained stable amidst such pressure on our system. I do not think that any new development has taken place warranting reappraisal and detailed analysis of our political system. Often, our friends, particularly from opposition parties, raise the demand for redefining of relations between the center and the states. I think whenever any political development takes place in a particular state or a particular party of a particular state feels any pressure on it in that situation, the only one slogan is raised that the central government is committing excesses on it, be it is a political issue or a financial issue. Stop. Generally, such things are raised on three counts. Firstly, it is raised on account of the institution of governor. Secondly, on account of prevailing financial relations between the center and the states. And thirdly, such things are raised by different regional parties for their personal political gains under the compulsion of situations in their state. If a detailed analysis is made with regard to it, one comes to the conclusion that behind all these three factors, it is mainly the political compulsion that forces them to raise such issues. Sir, if we take an example of the present West Bengal government, which often holds central government responsible for any lapse on their part so that they could hide their failures, they often level charges against central government of not granting that much of autonomy which is required by their state government to undertake the job, while the fact is that our constitution is neither newly formed nor it is a creation of recent past. At present, whatever equation between the center and the states is prevailing, it has been prevailing under the constitution since long ago. It was formed long ago by our constitution makers. So long as the same party ruled at the center and the state, no such problem arose, but as soon as different parties came into power at the center and states, such problem began to rise. Stop.